It is my privilege to introduce Riley Scrivner, and in her bio it says she does all things magenta. I will let you all ask her about that after the meeting. Hint, it's a four-legged critter. She is the dance marathon manager for Children's Health Foundation, works with dance foundations across the U.S. She's a graduate of UCO. She works on best practices, gives virtual hospital tours, seeks local partnerships for CHF, while also recruiting students of each of the various universities to join. In this position, Riley also works with Oklahoma 4-H in creating fundraising tactics, and opportunities within Children's Health Foundation. So please welcome Riley.
Can everyone hear me? What about now? Okay, I can yell if I have to. So once again, I'm Riley. It's so nice to meet you all. Also, I would love to show you pictures of my dog named Magenta after this, if you're interested. She's a star. And then I'll let Callie introduce herself.
I'm Callie. I work with Riley. I am the communications manager for Children's Health Foundation.
Perfect. Okay, claps to Callie. So on your tables, if you want to look at all of the handouts we sat on there while we present, you are more than welcome to. Callie actually created all of those handouts. So we have an annual magazine that goes out, as well as a We Care brochure, which we hand out at different events, so anybody has the opportunity to look more into CHF and what we do. And then we also have a form of what our Grateful Families program is, which we will talk about in a moment. But we'll go ahead and get started, and then we'll have room for questions at the end. Atta girl. Okay, so our goal is to support pediatric research, education, and care for the families of Oklahoma. I think sometimes there is a misconception that we pay for individuals' treatments, and that is not necessarily true. Our goal and our objective is to provide the resources in the state of Oklahoma so that none of the families have to leave. A fun fact I like to throw out is, does anyone know what a pea pod is? That should have been your trivia question. So a pea pod measures a baby's body composition non-invasively to detect their likelihood of gaining diabetes. And so in 2004, because of the money raised, CHF was able to provide our children's hospital with one of only 6 in the entire nation. And so even though that fact is a long time ago, that is a very good representation of what our goal is ultimately. So some fast facts about CHF is that we serve children in all 77 counties. So with that being said, our doctors have the ability to travel to other communities and help train those doctors or provide their research and their findings at other hospitals, not just the ones in Oklahoma City. We will actually talk about a partnership in a little bit in the presentation. We also, all the funds raised stay directly in Oklahoma. None of it leave the state. And no child is ever turned away from any of our programs. So even though I said we don't pay for their treatments, that is just a fact of no matter where the child goes, they will not be turned away. So history of CHF, we were founded 40 years ago as Children's Medical Research. We have raised over $150 million since 1983, and we are supported by 36 endowed chairs covering a variety. We have diabetes, we have adolescent medicine, different things such as that. I cannot even see that. Oh, we work directly with our physicians to secure funding for their programs, research, and lab needs. That is a perfect example of the P-POD. The diabetes department within the hospital was really in need, and so that is where the P-POD came into play in 2004. So this is a little bit about our rebranding. If you have heard of us, we were formerly known as Children's Hospital Foundation. However, with that, the funds that were raised stayed directly at OU Children's, which is located in Oklahoma City. When we hit our 40 years this year technically, but we launched this last year, we wanted our mission and our goal to expand to all of Oklahoma, not just the Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City. So we rebranded to name ourselves Children's Health Foundation so that we can broaden our mission. We can give to hospitals if we needed to give funding to Comanche in Lawton or OSU Medicine, which I will get to in just a moment. We wanted to be able to expand our outreach to as all of the counties are receiving treatment, not having to come to Oklahoma City to receive that. So as they said when they introduced me, I work with our dance marathon programs. So there are 5 in the state of Oklahoma. They are at USAO, OU, OSU, UCO, and OCU. So with that, a dance marathon program is a group of collegiate students who come together all year, and they raise money for Children's Health Foundation, and it all accumulates into an 8-hour dance marathon. The objective behind it is that they stand for 8 hours or 12 hours to represent a nurse's shift, and all the money they raise throughout the year is celebrated on that day. We have a partnership where we have partnered Cowboython, which is the dance marathon at OSU, with OSU Medicine, so that within the next 3 years, $100,000 of their funding will go to OSU Medicine. So throughout the years, if they raise $50,000 this year, we will give that to OSU Medicine. If they raise $150,000, we will only give like $50,000 because we want that $100,000 to accumulate to that after the 3 years is up. So a little bit more about our dance marathon programs, and I'm going to speak specifically on Cowboython. They do different events throughout the year, and they look for local partnerships. I know within the past year they have partnered with Oklahoma 4-H, and as they said in my introduction, I work with them. They work on Change for Change. So all of the counties do different programs throughout the year to raise money, and at their roundup at the end of the year, they present a check to us. Well, last year we started a partnership with them in Cowboython, where their students could come to Cowboython's main event, get to meet the Miracle families, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and participate in all of the activities. And the hope is that when they graduate out of the 4-H program and they are still wanting to serve Oklahoma and Children's Health Foundation, they will then go on to go to OSU and do Cowboython. So that is a little bit about our dance marathon programs. And then we also have our funding besides through our donors, which we'll talk about in a moment. We have funding through our annual events, such as Dancing for a Miracle, Starlight Ball, several golf tournaments, and I've heard I hear several people mentioning pickleball. And this right here is your girl. For the first time ever, we are actually going to put on a pickleball tournament this year. So we're very excited. We think it's going to be great. We had to do some convincing, but we think it's going to be awesome. So that is just some ways that we raise funds outside of our dance marathon programs and events we put on throughout the year. But we also receive support through donations, annual giving, Butterfly Club, planned gifts, and more. So if you ever were interested in a partnership, I know, for example, Tinker Federal Credit Union, they always put on a car show. I know that the Kiwanis Club, they always do, a duck race. And so they are very creative with their events, and we love to go and support them, and receiving the support is just so awesome. Next, we're going to talk about our Miracle Children and Grateful Families. So one thing that is really cool about CHF is we get to directly see the impact that we have, and we get to interact with a lot of the families. After this slide, I'm going to show you all a video. But what we call our Grateful Families, they are families who have been treated, a lot of them at Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City, but any person who has been treated through the support of our funding. So they didn't have to leave the state to receive this treatment. We were able to bring in the best technology or the best resource to help them, and they serve as an advocate for CHF. So that means they go to different events and they tell their stories, or they go to check presentations, or they just come to any of our events and just get to celebrate with us. It is something so cool, and I know at our dance marathon programs, how I talked about that earlier, that is just such an awesome touch point of they get to firsthand see where their money is going and what their money is doing. We are actually really in need of grateful families. So I put a handout on all of your tables. If you know anyone who has been served at a hospital here and the funding from CHF has been what helped them not to have to leave the state, or it has helped their family in any way, we would love the opportunity to meet them, not only just to hear their story and know their impact, but also if they would like the opportunity to present that anywhere we go. So after this, we have a video. You got it? There she goes. We have champion children. So all of the states provide, you have your Miracle Families and you have your champion child, and they are the face of your organization for the year. All of the states have them, and then they come together, and those make up your national champion children. They get the opportunity to go to different events throughout the nation. So Vivian and Veronica, whose video you'll see in just a moment, got the opportunity a couple months ago to go to Ohio for the 7-Eleven golf tournament and meet several of the other national champions. Once upon a time, all of the national champions got to go to Disney World. That is not reality anymore, but once upon a time they got to do that. But I just want you all to have the opportunity to watch Vivian and Veronica's video hear more about their story and about the impact that Children's Health Foundation had on them.
Vivian and Veronica, two little girls who are living proof miracles do happen.
I had always wanted twins. I always thought twins would be so wonderful.
A complicated medical history meant Carrie Stoll might never be able to carry a baby. A positive pregnancy test seemed like a miracle multiplied.
There was one sac, but there were 2 babies.
But joy soon turned to worry when doctors found Vivian was growing much faster than Veronica. The diagnosis? Potentially fatal twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome.
The one who's getting more blood and nutrients and is growing more, she's at risk for heart failure. The one who isn't getting everything that she needs is a risk for, dying because she's not getting what she needs to grow and develop.
The options were limited, a risky surgery, or a choice to wait and see.
I figured, we were giving these babies when I was at the point in my life for a reason, and whatever that reason is and however that was going to play out, we were doing it here in Oklahoma.
Thankfully, they also found in Oklahoma a team of specialists at Children's Hospital ready to fight to save their girls. At 26 weeks, 2 days, Veronica and Vivian Stoll made their grand entrance into the world via C-section.
All I remember is just catching a glimpse of them as they were whisked away to the NICU.
The girls were tiny, micro-preemies.
We have a picture of, I think it was Veronica, and her hand was on Carrie's finger, wrapped around her finger, and her hand was so tiny that her hand didn't even go all the way around her finger.
Veronica weighed just 1 pound 2 ounces. Vivian, 1 pound 12 ounces.
We were just praying and hoping that they would be fine.
They both had brain bleeds and a variety of other health issues too, requiring the skill of experienced neonatal and other specialists. Veronica's journey was the most critical.
She fought harder than Vivian, and there were a few times we almost lost both of them, I know, but her, there were more.
Months went by, and the girls, they both grew bigger and stronger, eventually going home. Today, they are active 10-year-olds. Carrie credits the girls' strong spirits and the life-saving care made possible by Children's Health Foundation and its physician scientists for helping Vivian and Veronica overcome each health challenge they've faced along the way.
Just the people we have gotten to know through this organization has changed our lives and the girls' lives, just in so many ways.
So that is a little bit about Vivian and Veronica. They are our current champion children, so they have represented us since this time of last year, so their time is coming to an end, but their involvement is certainly not. So to kind of wrap it up a little bit, we have been doing a cancer initiative for the past couple of years, and so we have wanted to hit a $6 million goal to raise for the Jimmy Everest Center at Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City. This slide is not up to date because we have hit that goal, so round of applause. We're super excited about that. But once again, that is really all we have, but thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak to you all. Callie and I, we look super young, we are, but one of the things, Callie and I have been a part of Children's Health Foundation since our collegiate days. We were both part of Dance Marathon, and we love this cause so much that we made careers out of it, and so it's super awesome. We love what we do, and we would love the opportunity to work with you all, whether it be Children's Health Foundation or just Cowboy-thon. We are so gracious for you all and what you do, and just thank you for your time. Does anyone have any questions? We are happy to answer. If not, that's okay too.
Do you address any medical condition? This was preemies, and then you mentioned cancer, but any, I'm assuming a debilitating type
Yes, there are 36
conditions.
endowed chairs. And so there are 36 departments that we work with at Children's in particular, but it can be anything. It's not specific to just one. That was just our current goal, was the pediatric cancer. Before that, it was it diabetes? Okay, we are about to start diabetes, but we had a different one before that, but it's really where we see a need.
Can you, and this is specific, so if you can't think of an example, that's okay.
Okay.
But are there any stories that you've heard of where, you know, the research has been done in Oklahoma on a specific family, but then that research was able to have a much broader reach? Like it was a condition that we were able to learn about that, you know, physicians all over the nation were able to, you know, get more insights into. I'm just curious to see how it starts here and then how that knowledge can impact more people.
Do I have an example for you? Is it zebrafish, Dr. Fields? Yes. Dr. Fields actually, Dr. Kimball Frazier, Dr. Frazier actually discovered that T-cell lymphoma and leukemia are they have the same cells as zebrafish. So he was able to take his treatments and insert them into zebrafish, and they would light up, and he could tell how his treatments were affecting the zebrafish. And so he was able to take that practice and see how to better serve children who come in with T-cell lymphoma, different things like that. And so that's a cool practice. That's a fun fact if you didn't know, and if you've ever been in Children's Hospital, the floor that he studies on, there's zebrafish painted all throughout the walls. Okay. Well, thank you so
Any
much.
other questions?